Hi there everybody and welcome back to the Blossom Crochet channel. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this absolutely incredible After the Storm crochet cowl. Now this is being made up as an infinity cowl, so you can see it loops around a few times and looks absolutely incredible with all of these colours mixing in with each other absolutely beautifully. You can of course leave this as a flat scarf if you want to. It's the joining at the end is absolutely optional, but this is, like I say, the After the Storm crochet infinity cowl. I really do hope you love it. I think it looks absolutely stunning, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think, of course. For this one I'm using the Stylecraft Knit Me Crochet Me DK, and this is the shade called Rainbow, and I'm going to be using a 6mm hook. It recommends a 4, but I want a really soft drape, so I'm using a 6mm hook. And then you're just going to crochet the same 1 row repeat over and over again until your scarf is as long as you want it to be. At that point you can add fringe, tassels, pom-poms, whatever you like, or as I say, you can loop it together to make an infinity cowl, which is what I will be doing. So that's the yarn we're using. We're using a much bigger hook than what the yarn recommends so that you get a really good drape, and we're going to be using a 1 row repeat, and it's really mindless. This took me less than 4 hours. The only thing I need to do now is join the ends together to make it into the cowl, but it's really quick, really easy, and a perfect one for beginners and beyond. So you'll be starting with your slip knot on your hook, and you're going to do a chain of 30. So that is if you're using the same yarn and want to create the exact same piece that I've done. You will use your 6mm hook and do a chain of 30. The pattern multiple for this is 2, so if you want it wider or thinner, then just do any multiple of 2, so any even number. But I will be doing 30 for my scarf. I'm only going to be doing a small sample here, but you'll just chain, so yarn over and pull through. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you just complete your chain. Okay, so for the entirety of the project you're going to be using chain stitches and also UK double crochet stitches. If you're in the US, these will be your single crochet stitches, and we're just going to be doing the incredible moss stitch. We all know that that is a firm favourite of mine, so we're just going to be doing a really nice loose moss stitch to get that lovely soft drape. So into your 4th chain, so 1, 2, 3, and this is my 4th. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and pull through both, and that is a UK double or US single. You'll chain 1 and then you'll skip the next chain, and then into the one after that you will do another UK double. So insert, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both, chain 1, skip 1, UK double, and you'll repeat that all the way along your foundation chain until you get towards the other end. So it's the most incredibly simple pattern. I think everybody loves a good moss stitch, and I just really enjoyed the way that the moss stitch worked up in this yarn. When I showed it in my little yarn haul video the other week, I showed the little example that was given on the back of the yarn label for a knitted blanket, and I loved the way that the colours looked with that. In fact, let me bring it across so you can see here. I love the way that that looked, so I wanted to recreate that kind of effect, and one of the best ways to do that was using the lovely moss stitch. So you'll work your final UK double into that very last chain. At this point you'll chain 2 and turn, and then you'll go straight into your chain 1 space. So you're ignoring the top of the double here, and you're going straight into this chain 1 space, and that is where you'll start your next row. Chain 1 again, and then you'll skip the top of the double crochet and you'll double crochet into the chain 1 space. So you're always working into the chain spaces from now on. Chain 1, double into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, double into your next chain 1 space, and again work that all the way along, and I will meet you as you get towards the end. Okay, so I've done a double crochet. I'm going to chain 1, and then I've got one last double crochet to skip, and then this next bit is those skipped chains from our foundation chain. So you're just going to insert your hook into that space. It doesn't need to be into a chain, but just after your last double crochet, you'll just insert your hook into those skipped chains and do your final double. Okay, and again, this is how you will be looking. And then chain 2, so this now is your row repeat. So chain 2 and turn, and then straight into that very first chain 1 space, double crochet. Chain 1, skip the double crochet, and then double into the next chain 1 space. So you're always skipping the stitches and working into the chain space. And that is what creates the lovely moss stitch. So again, I'll just stick with you to the end here. So again, I'm doing a double crochet, chain 1, and then I've got one final double crochet stitch which I'm skipping, and then you've got the chain 2 from the beginning of the last row. So you'll skip the top of the double and then insert your chain, and then you'll insert your hook just underneath that chain. You're not going through any stitches, you're just going underneath the chain anywhere, and then your final double, and then again chain 2, turn, and you're good to go. And you're just going to repeat that over and over again a couple of 100 times until you have your completed rows, which will look like this, and it'll be nice and super long. I've only used one cake for this scarf, and it is long enough for me to be happy to loop it around for an infinity scarf. If I was going to be leaving it just as a long scarf and adding tassels or fringe, then I would probably use the second cake as well, just to make it really, really long so I can wrap it around a couple of times. However, because I'm just doing an infinity cowl, the one cake was enough for me to be able to join this together, and then it wraps around, it loops around twice, which is perfect for me. That is exactly what I want. So I'll leave a tutorial link in the description for adding fringe, and also if you wanted to add pom-pom border. But now I will just show you how I'm going to join my ends together to make my looped infinity cowl. So I'm going to make sure that my scarf is flat with no twists or anything, so it's perfectly flat. That's very important to make sure that you don't have any twists in your work. Okay, so now I'm going to line up my two ends now that I'm sure that I have got no twists in my scarf. It's laying, as you can see, perfectly flat on top of itself. Now there are so many ways that you can join your scarf. You can completely snip off and then use a needle, and you can do a whip stitch if you prefer. I'm just going to crochet my two ends together with slip stitches. That's all I'm going to be doing. So but like I say, you can just snip off and then thread up your needle and just use a whip stitch, which is just as good. But I'm just going to insert my hook through the top of that very first stitch, and then also through this first stitch on the back of my work as well, like so. And I'm just going to slip stitch. And then again, I'll be going into my chain 1 space next on this front bit, and into the skipped chains on the back piece, and again slip stitch into the top of the double this time, and then it'll be the base of the double on your chain row, and again slip stitch. Like I say, it is completely up to you the method that you want to use to join. Some people find that doing a slip stitch row, because it creates that ridge, some people don't like to have that, and so they prefer to do a whip stitch. So like I say, it is all down to personal preference at the end of the day. I don't mind having the ridge at all, but I have got some where I've done whip stitch joins, so it's just whatever you fancy really. So you'll continue that all the way along, and then I will meet you in just a second. So you'll be finishing on a slip stitch into that skip chains on either side, and then you're just going to chain 1, and I've only got a tiny bit, but you just snip off and then pull that tight, and then you'll just need to weave in those ends. So you can see that lovely line of slip stitches there. And that is how the join looks on the other side of your scarf. and then on this side you'll have that slight ridge, but like I say, I really don't mind having that at all. And then that is how you look when you turn it the right way out. So that is it for this tutorial. So this is ready now to be looped and swooped to create that beautiful looped infinity scarf. So you can see that's going to look so good when it's being worn, looped around with all of those colours mixing in beautifully. But that is it for this one. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this one. I absolutely love this finished scarf, and I really hope that you do too. But thank you as always for watching, and bye for now.